Greetings. Let's talk about the iPhone 5C. This will be a buyer's guide for iPhones 5 in general, and then it'll also serve as a first look at the iPhone 5C. So let's take a quick scan at some of the accessories that I bought. I've got the Lightning digital adapter. I've got the stock white iPhone case. I bought the iPhone 5C, just the base model, and then I've got a couple cables here. And let's talk about the hardware for the moment between the iPhone 5C and the 5S. You can throw as much technobabble as you want at it. The things that I think make the biggest difference are, from the hardware perspective, I do not like the way the iPhone 5C feels. The plastic just sticks to my hand. It feels like humidity. It might be a good word. But very sticky. When you buy this case, though, it completely changes the way the phone feels. This is a very soft plastic. It almost feels spongy. I don't know if that's the right word. It's kind of got a grip to it, but not so much that it's an inconvenience. And on the inside, it's got a carpet in there, which is really nice. I think this is going to protect the phone from all the grime and dirt and things that have happened previously when I buy cases for phones. So if you pair up the Apple case to the iPhone 5C, then it's a home run. If you're at the kiosk and you're looking at the two phones, it's very clear that the design of the iPhone 5S is just sexier. The screen looks bigger. In fact, when you play with the phones, the screen on the iPhone 5S has sort of a gloss. So I think that and maybe just a little bit of the difference in the processor make it just feel a lot more responsive. But having said that, usually I think people fall into two categories when they buy phones. There are those that put cases on phones, and there are those that do not. And if you fall into the category like I do, where you put a case on the phone, you're going to buy this sexy, iPhone 5S. It's going to have a metallic background, and then you're going to immediately put it in a plastic case. And then it just kind of diminishes how awesome the phone is. I do like the porcelain button a little better, although there's been some question of security issues around it on the 5S. So what I chose to do basically is get the 5C, the base model. I'll wait for the 6 to come out and see what that's all about. If I want to get a premium phone, I'll look at it then. If you've got tons of music, then you're going to probably want to get the 5S because they have larger storage capacity. I think the 5C comes in 16 and 32 gigs. So on to iOS 7. If we look at iOS 7, we've got this new control panel that you can slide up. It's very Android-esque. I've used Android in the past. Love it. Long overdue. You can slide it back down. I do miss what I've sacrificed to the AirPlay and the radio button here. And what I mean by that is in the past, when you could double-click, you could swipe left, then the AirPlay button would pop up if you swipe left, and you could also fast-forward and pause Rhapsody and all this good stuff. And I think the average user may not care, but what I would tend to do is I would go into the GPS, I would double click it, I'd swipe over, I would leave that bar up, and then I could then navigate and have my music readily available to me. So that's a feature that I miss. Now the workaround is I can slide up, I can hit play, I can hit fast forward, and then I can slide back down and get back to the GPS. It's not a terrible inconvenience, but I would prefer that they had kept that. But going back to the original statement here, when you slide up, now you control all your AirPlay mirroring and all this stuff kind of from this one control panel. You can turn on Bluetooth and turn it off. There's a cool flashlight feature. You can get to a lot of the gadgets that you might normally use, photo, calculator, and time clock. So I really like that option. One thing I miss, and this is maybe because I'm a creature of habit and I can see why Apple did this, I miss swiping left for the search. Now if you just kind of touch an icon and drag it down, you can search. One of the advantages I can see to this is if someone didn't like to use a lot of folders like I do, and they have, say, 7 windows or however many windows Apple allows, and you're on window 7 all the way to the right, and if you want to search, you have to scroll all the way back to window 0, I guess. So adding this search is pretty neat because it seems like it could work from any window. So that's cool. So on to the camera. This is a really slick feature, and it's available in both of the phones. If you hold the photo button down, it just does this burst mode. And last night I had a couple ask me if I could take some photos for them. And I said, yeah, I'll take like 4 or 5 to make sure you get a good one. Well, if they had the newer OS on the iPhone, I could have just done a burst, got about 40 photos. Let them pick the one that they wanted. So the burst is really a cool feature. Photos, I think photos have been well improved. You can go to collections and you can kind of see a summary of all your photos. Then you can drill in. The baseball game would be a perfect example of how that burst mode would have been really cool. Then if you go back to collections, or if you go back to year, you can see the whole year, kind of a preview of all your photos. Click to the right, it'll show you where you were located when you took the photos. So that's pretty cool. One disadvantage of the burst mode is that you got to go back and kind of clean those photos up. But if it's a shot that is real important to you, it's probably worth using it. You can go in and kind of select the photos and delete them out. When I first got the phone, I don't know if it synchronized the backdrop that I had before, but if you go to wallpapers, you can go in and you can choose these dynamic wallpapers, which I suspect there may be more in the App Store later, but you can set both of your screens. And then as you can see, when you move the phone, the bubbles kind of move around a little bit. This may be a feature that you want to skip if you're one of those folks that thinks you're going to get sick. Some people claim they're getting motion sickness from it. The GPS is pretty improved. I tend to like it now. It even has a 3D option. So when I first used it in the car, it looked great. So when you go to volume, normal will mute the music when it's playing. Let's see if we can demonstrate this here. There we go. So normal mutes the music. When I tried it on low, you'll notice there that it no longer mutes the music. I wish it did, because when I crank the radio up, the GPS volume on normal sounds super loud even though it mutes the music. And then when I put it on low, it just plays and is drowned out by the music. So aside from that, for a free GPS, it's pretty stellar, and I'm going to continue to use it, and I'll be able to tell you more about the accuracy of it